they say the dead can't hurt you. But whoever sent those flowers, they didn't believe that. The card was signed by a name I hadn't seen in years, Michael Turner. A name that made my stomach twist like I was 20 again, back in that steel mill, fists clenched, heat rising in my chest. Yesterday, I buried my wife. Today, her lover sent his condolences. And tonight, I'm going to send mine. My name's Harold Bennett. I'm 68 years old. Born and raised in Millstone, Pennsylvania, one of those towns where the church bells still ring at noon, and the diner coffee tastes the same as it did 40 years ago. I used to work at the mill before it shut down, then drove trucks for another 20 years till my knees gave out. These days, my mornings are quiet, a black coffee, newspaper folded just so, and a front porch that's seen more seasons than I care to count. On that porch, the morning after my wife's funeral, sat a bouquet of lilies, her favorite. White, pure, perfect, except for the note. Rest easy, my love. Empty. I stood there, cup shaking in my hand, and whispered, "Guess grief ain't the only thing that comes back after you die." Linda and I were married 50 years. Half a century of holding hands, fighting over thermostat settings, and finishing each other's sentences. She was the heart of this town, the kind of woman who baked pies for neighbors who didn't even say thank you. When she got sick 2 years ago, I did what any husband of my generation would do, I stayed. I cooked, I cleaned, I read to her from the same Bible her mother gave us on our wedding day. That's when he showed up, Michael Turner. He said he was a church volunteer, helping with meal deliveries. Younger man, maybe 45. Wore cologne that lingered too long, smiled like he owned the room. Linda said he was just a kind soul. Funny thing, I used to think kindness didn't smell like expensive cologne. At first, I ignored it. You tell yourself things, at my age. She's lonely, he's just being helpful. But little things started to pile up. Her phone lighting up after midnight. The way she laughed again, not the way she laughed with me, softer, secretive. One Sunday, I found her sitting in the truck, crying. I asked what was wrong, and she just said, "Harold, don't make this harder than it already is." I didn't understand then. But I do now. The town folks didn't help. "You worry too much, Harold. You've had a good life." Let her have her friends. But there's a kind of loneliness that doesn't need company, it just needs the truth. And when those lilies arrived with his name on them, I finally knew what I'd been avoiding all along. When a man steals your wife while you're feeding her soup, I muttered, he better pray you're too old to fight back. The next day, I sat at her vanity, the one I built from oak when we first got married. I was cleaning out her drawers, trying to keep my hands busy so my heart wouldn't fall apart. That's when I found her tablet. I opened her email. And there they were, messages from him. 5 years worth. Photos, love notes, plans. Words like forever, soulmate, ours. 5 years, while I was clipping coupons, counting pills, and selling the truck to pay for her treatments. My vision blurred, not from tears, but from rage that had nowhere to go. Then I saw it, an old photo of the two of them at a lake I never visited. Her in the same red scarf I thought she'd lost. I whispered, "So this is where your Sundays went." And in one of the messages, dated just 3 months ago, he'd written, "You deserve better than some old man clinging to the past." I laughed. Quietly, bitterly. Because he was right about one thing, I was old. But age doesn't make you weak. It makes you patient. Michael Turner ran a charity through the church, collecting donations for widows and veterans. I donated to it myself once, back when I still believed he was decent. So I started digging. I went down to the community office, told them I was updating my tax forms. Old men like me, people don't ask questions when we move slow. But I was faster than I looked. Receipts didn't match records. Checks cashed to personal accounts. Fake donors. Every lie he told left a paper trail, and I followed it like an old bloodhound that finally caught the scent. At night, I sat at my desk, the same one where Linda and I used to pay bills, typing everything up on my old typewriter. Click! 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 Each key a heartbeat of revenge. You live long enough, I whispered, and you learn, revenge ain't about rage. It's about balance. It didn't take long before he started to notice. One evening, my phone rang, his number. I didn't answer. He left a message, voice shaking. Harold, listen, man, I think we should talk. I didn't mean. I deleted it halfway through. Next came the emails, then the church gossip. Folks whispering about accounting issues in Michael's charity. The pastor started asking questions. One rainy night, he showed up on my porch. His fancy car tires crunching gravel like bones. He looked smaller without the suit and the smirk. Harold, he said, voice trembling, whatever you think you found. I cut him off. You remember those lilies, son? The ones you sent? He swallowed hard. I'm sorry, okay? She was lonely. You were old? I said. He went quiet. You thought that meant harmless, I told him. He left without another word. And I just sat there, rocking in my chair, rain tapping the roof like an old clock keeping time with my heartbeat. The following Sunday, the church was packed. Michael was supposed to speak, some charity recognition event. Cameras, congregation, the mayor even. I walked in slow, cane tapping the floor. Every eye turned to me. Michael froze mid-sentence. I carried a bouquet of lilies, the same kind he sent me. Walked right up to the altar and set them beside him. Then I handed the pastor a thick folder, my typewritten report, receipts, and bank statements. Copies already mailed to the local paper and the authorities. Sometimes, I said, voice steady, the Lord's work needs a little help from the living. Gasps filled the room. The pastor flipped through the papers, face going pale. Michael started to stammer, sweating through his shirt. Mr. Turner, the pastor said slowly, is this true? Michael's voice cracked. This is insane, he's making this up. I just smiled. You said the world moved on from my kind of love. Guess it's still catching up to your kind of lies. The congregation erupted, whispers, shouts, people recording. Michael ran out, face white as the lilies at his feet. A week later, the news broke. Michael Turner arrested for fraud, banned from the church board. His family left town in silence. I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I just sat on my porch that evening, listening to the wind move through the maples. The same wind that used to carry Linda's laughter. I looked at her photo, wedding day, 1973. She was 22, I was 24, both too young to understand what forever really meant. Forever ends differently for everyone, I whispered. Yours ended in flowers. I still keep her picture. Still talk to her sometimes. Because forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it just means you stop letting their lies live rent-free in your heart. If you've ever been betrayed after giving someone your best years, know this, age doesn't make you invisible. It makes you powerful in ways the young can't understand. Time doesn't heal everything. But it sure as hell reveals the truth. If my story reminded you of your own, leave a comment below. Maybe your story will help someone else find the courage to stand up. No matter how many candles are on their cake. Fade out, gentle guitar, porch swing creaking, dusk settling over millstone. Justice served. Dignity restored.